Let us continue with this review section by looking at question 2. The question asks, attention is most like a battery, a flashlight, a camera, or a muscle. The best answer is a flashlight. Why is that the best analogy? Because attention works by shining on one thing at a time more clearly than everything else around it. Imagine being in a dark room with a flashlight. Wherever you point the beam, that area becomes clear, while the rest stays in the background. In the same way, your brain cannot give equal importance to everything at once. It selects one object, one thought, one sound, or one task, and gives that target more mental energy. This idea is called selective attention. It means your mind is always choosing what to focus on and what to ignore. That is very important in a digital world, because phones, messages, videos, and background noise are all trying to pull the flashlight away from what matters. The other options may sound partly true, but they do not explain attention as accurately in this context. A battery suggests attention is only about having a limited amount of energy. A muscle suggests it gets stronger with training, which is also true in one sense. A camera suggests recording information. But the flashlight analogy is the best because it explains how attention is directed. It shows that focus is about where the mind points itself. This connects with what we have already learned. Distraction happens when the flashlight keeps getting pulled from one place to another. In the next question, we will explore one of the brain systems that makes those distractions so powerful: dopamine. Now let us move to question 3. What does dopamine mainly do? The correct answer is B, helps motivation and learning from rewards. Dopamine is often misunderstood. Many people think dopamine is simply the pleasure chemical, but that is not the full story. Dopamine is more closely related to motivation, anticipation, and learning. It helps your brain notice what seems rewarding and encourages you to repeat behaviors that might lead to a reward. For example, when your phone buzzes, your brain may expect something interesting: a message, a like, a video, or some new information. That expectation can trigger dopamine activity. As a result, you feel pulled to check your device, even when you were trying to study. This is one reason digital distractions are so effective. They do not always give a huge reward, but they keep offering the possibility of one. And your brain is very sensitive to that possibility. Dopamine also helps with learning. When something leads to a positive result, your brain pays attention and remembers that pattern. This is useful in healthy ways too. If you complete a study goal and feel satisfied, your brain can begin connecting focus with reward. That is why small wins, checklists, and clear goals can help build better habits. So dopamine does not instantly make you smarter, make you sleepy, or improve memory immediately. Its main role here is helping the brain learn from rewards and stay motivated to seek them. This idea leads directly into the next question. If the brain is constantly attracted to possible rewards and novelty, then what happens when we keep jumping between tasks? Let us examine that next. Question 4 asks, why does task switching reduce productivity? Task switching reduces productivity because the brain does not move instantly and effortlessly from one task to another. Each time you stop one activity and start another, your brain must reorient itself. It has to remember where you left off, adjust to the new goal, and rebuild concentration. That process takes time and mental energy. Many students call this multitasking, but in most cases, it is actually rapid task switching. For example, you may be doing homework, then checking a message, then returning to homework, then opening music, then looking at a notification, then trying to read again. Even if each interruption seems small, the total cost becomes large. There are several reasons this lowers productivity. First, it breaks your attention. Remember the flashlight analogy from the earlier slide. Every switch moves the flashlight. Second, it increases errors because the brain has less time to process each task deeply. Third, it weakens memory because learning is stronger when attention stays steady. And fourth, it creates mental fatigue because the brain keeps resetting. This is why you may spend a long time studying, but not actually make much progress. The problem is not always lack of effort. Sometimes the problem is too many shifts in attention. Understanding this helps us move from theory to action. If distractions and task switching are the problem, then the next question becomes practical. What can we actually do to reduce distractions while studying? Question 5 asks, name 2 ways to reduce distractions while studying. There are many strong answers here, and the goal is to think practically. 2 helpful methods are: first, keep your phone away or silence notifications. Since notifications compete for your attention and trigger curiosity, removing them lowers the number of times your focus gets interrupted. This gives your brain a better chance to stay on one task. Second, study in timed focus blocks. For example, you might work for 25 minutes on one task, then take a short break. This gives your mind a clear structure. Instead of trying to focus forever, you focus for one defined period. That often feels more manageable and leads to better concentration. Other good answers might include studying in a quiet place, closing extra tabs, using a planner, telling others not to interrupt you, or setting one clear goal before you begin. The important idea is that focus is easier when you design your environment to support it. By now, we have moved from understanding how distraction works to identifying tools to manage it. The next slide invites you to make this lesson personal through reflection. Now we come to the reflection question. What is one change you will make after today's lesson? This is a very important moment because learning becomes powerful when it turns into action. You do not need to change everything at once. In fact, one small change is often more effective than a big, unrealistic plan. You might decide, I will keep my phone in another room during homework, or I will use 20-minute focus sessions, or I will stop switching between tabs unless it is necessary. Another student might choose, I will take mindful breaks instead of scrolling. The purpose of reflection is to help you notice what matters most for your own life. Everyone gets distracted in different ways. Some students are pulled by notifications. Others are pulled by boredom, stress, or the habit of checking many things at once. When you identify one change clearly, you begin training your attention with intention. This reflection also prepares you for the resources that follow. The next slides will show tools that can help you put your plan into practice in daily life. Now let us look at the downloadable resources, starting with the student workbook. This workbook is designed to help you review and apply what you learned in this module. It includes lesson summaries, which give you the main ideas in a simple form. That is useful when you want to revisit the topic without going through the full lesson again. It also includes visual diagrams. These are helpful because sometimes a picture makes a concept easier to remember. For example, ideas like attention, distraction, and task switching become clearer when you can see how they work. The workbook also contains practice pages. These are important because understanding improves through use. When you answer questions, fill in examples, or complete exercises, you are not just reading the idea, you are practicing it. Finally, it includes reflection questions, which help you connect the science of focus to your own habits, choices, and goals. So this workbook is not just extra reading. It is a learning tool meant to support memory, reflection, and real-world application. The next resource becomes even more practical by helping you track your focus day by day. The next resource is the Focus Journal, a 7-day focus tracker. This tool helps you observe your habits over one full week. Instead of guessing how focused you were, you will collect real information. That is useful because change begins with awareness. In the journal, you will record your study duration, which shows how long you worked. You will also record the number of distractions, so you can begin noticing patterns. For example, maybe you get distracted most often in the evening, or when your phone is nearby, or when you begin studying without a clear plan. You will also track your mood before and mood after studying. This is valuable because emotions and attention are connected. You may notice that stress, boredom, or tiredness increase distraction. You may also discover that finishing a focused study session improves your mood. This journal encourages mindfulness in a very practical way. It teaches you to notice without judging. You are not trying to prove that you are perfect. You are learning how your mind works. Once you start noticing those patterns, the next helpful step is planning your day more intentionally. That is where the Focus Planner comes in. The Focus Planner is a printable daily planner designed to help you organize your attention before distractions take over. It begins with a priority task. This is important because your mind works better when it knows what matters most. If you start the day without a clear priority, it becomes easier to drift toward easier or more entertaining activities. The planner also includes timer blocks. These help you divide your work into focus sessions. Instead of saying, "I will study later," you create a specific structure. This makes focus more concrete and easier to begin. There is also a break tracker. Breaks are not a waste of time when they are used well. Short, intentional breaks can refresh the brain and help you return with better concentration. The key is taking mindful breaks, not breaks that turn into long distractions. Finally, the planner includes a reflection box. At the end of the day, you can review what worked, what distracted you, and what you want to improve tomorrow. This makes the planner more than a schedule. It becomes a tool for self-awareness and growth. From planning attention on paper, we now move to a resource that helps train attention directly through practice: the Guided Meditation Audio. The Guided Meditation Audio is a 12-minute focus meditation, available in an offline version. This resource is especially useful because it helps you practice the exact skill we have been discussing throughout this module: noticing distraction and bringing attention back. During meditation, your mind will wander. That is normal. The practice is not about never getting distracted. The practice is about recognizing distraction and returning gently. That return is important. Every time you notice that your mind has drifted and bring it back, you are strengthening focus. In a way, you are training the flashlight of attention to become steadier. The fact that this is available offline is also meaningful. It removes one of the biggest modern obstacles to focus: constant digital interruption. You can use it without needing to stay connected to notifications or apps. This meditation can be used before studying, after school, or whenever your mind feels scattered. It turns the science of attention into a direct experience. The next resource presents these ideas visually in a simple summary format through an infographic. The infographic, titled "Why Your Brain Gets Distracted," brings together the major ideas from this module in one visual explanation. It illustrates attention, helping you remember that focus is selective, like a flashlight. It also shows the role of notifications, which compete for your awareness and pull your attention away from your goals. The infographic includes dopamine, reminding you that the brain is strongly drawn toward novelty, reward, and anticipation. This helps explain why digital devices can feel so hard to ignore. It also covers task switching, showing why moving rapidly between activities reduces efficiency, increases mistakes, and weakens learning. Finally, it presents focus habits, which are the practical actions that help restore control, such as reducing interruptions, using study blocks, and taking mindful breaks. This kind of visual summary is useful for quick review. Sometimes seeing all the ideas together helps you understand the full picture more clearly. And once you understand the full picture, you are ready for a set of additional strategies that support stronger learning habits overall. The bonus PDF, called 10 Science-Backed Study Habits, extends what you have learned in this module and gives you practical methods for everyday academic success. It includes single tasking, which directly connects to our discussion of attention and task switching. When you focus on one task at a time, the brain works more efficiently. It also includes phone-free study blocks, which reduce external distractions and protect concentration. Sleep before studying is another powerful habit because the brain learns and remembers better when it is well rested. You will also see active recall and spaced repetition. These are highly effective learning strategies. Active recall means testing yourself instead of only rereading. Spaced repetition means reviewing information over time instead of cramming all at once. The PDF also recommends mindful breaks, hydration, and environment design. These support attention by helping your brain and body function well. In addition, consistency and reflection are included because strong habits are built through repetition and self-awareness. This resource shows that focus is not just about resisting distraction. It is also about creating the conditions in which learning becomes easier and more effective. Now, after reviewing the questions, reflecting on change, and exploring the resources, we arrive at the final summary of the module. In this module summary, let us bring everything together clearly. By the end of Module 2, you now understand that the brain naturally seeks novelty. This means it is normal to be attracted to new, interesting, or rewarding things. That is one reason distraction happens so easily, especially in a digital world filled with alerts, videos, and constant updates. You have also learned that smartphones and notifications compete for attention, but mindful use can restore control. This is an important message. Technology is not automatically the enemy, but using it without awareness can weaken focus. Another key idea is that multitasking is usually rapid task switching, and that switching reduces performance. It slows thinking, increases mistakes, and makes learning less efficient. Most importantly, you have learned that every moment of noticing and returning attention strengthens focus. This idea is at the heart of mindfulness practice. You do not fail when your mind wanders. You build skill when you notice and come back. Finally, you have seen that small daily habits such as distraction-free study sessions, mindful breaks, planning, and reflection can build lasting concentration over time. So you leave this module with two things. First, an understanding of why your brain gets distracted. And second, a practical toolkit for improving focus while studying, learning, and living in a digital world. As you move forward, remember this. Focus is not something you either have or do not have. It is something you train, protect, and strengthen little by little, day by day.